Welcome to this new Addon Spotlight. In this Addon Spotlight we're gonna look at this beautiful helicopter. We're currently located at Willemstad, and that's at Curaçao, and we're flying with the Robinson R44. It's a helicopter which has been released earlier this week, and it's the second or actually third helicopter, right? If you look at, if you also maybe are aware of the H135 and H145, although the H145 is not, I would say, finished yet. If you look at the details, right, it looks really cool from the outside. Also, if you look at look closer at the rotor, nice details. Also, if you look at the other side, some really high details. Also, if you look at the signs, right, the signs which are painted here like danger, it's really, I'd say, top of the art. So let's go inside to see how it looks from the inside. So this is the helicopter, right? So as you can see, we can look around. There are 2 seats on the back and 2 seats on the front. So here's no storage, keep the area clear, right? Here's the on button to switch on the view. We've got the throttle, and we've got the start options, friction increase, and then we've got a nice manual here. Solo, from right seat only, right? So if you want to fly solo, you need to sit on this end. Then we've got the radio communication here. As you can see, and then we've got the, let's say, the master things like the master switch, the clutch, the strobes, the brakes, and then when we go a little bit higher, we see the RPMs, so the engine information, the vertical speed, the altitude, the turn coordinator, the speed, and the, I would say, horizon. You can see that it looks like that this meter is not as detailed as the rest, but that will probably come. And then in the center we also have the Garmin, right? So we've got the Garmin system which we can use, and some alert lights. So let's see how we can start these engines. So probably we need to switch on the master battery. That will also make sure that the radio switched on. We can switch on the strobes and navigation lights if we want. Here are some nice meters which show you the oil temperature and the what's the other thing? How much fuel you'll have. This is probably RPMs. The clock. So everything is okay. So I'm gonna switch on Alt. Let's see if we can start the engine. Not that one. So here's also a button, but it doesn't have an option as it looks like. So let's see if we can. I think we need to press Ctrl E for that. A lot of noise. Once you did that, right, it will start doing fun stuff because it will start to push back. Well, good luck, because we don't have any wheels, as you can see. So have fun with it. Mind your head. Pushback driver, right? You can see that the. I'm really wondering if this would work. Would be really cool, right? But that's probably some work. I would say probably. The developers can't even do much about it, because maybe Flight Simulator is not aware that this is a helicopter, right? So let's go inside the aircraft, and then let's simply open and say, hey, stop with the pushback. Doesn't make any sense. So we've done that, right? So here we can see the Garmin system, right? The Garmin system is, let's say, you've got the 3D vision, which shows actually almost the same as the compass, only it shows what's really in front of you. And then you've got the map, and the map can be used to say look where you are, but also to define flight plans. So for example, what we can do is we can click on nearest, and unfortunately I can't scroll in or zoom in a little bit further, but here you've got the airports, you've got the VORs, the other channels, the NDBs, the intersections. So let's select this one and then select, we're gonna fly to the Flamingos, and then we're gonna say we want to have a direct flight. Want to activate it, and then you can see that it plays a nice arrow here, and that shows the flight direction where we need to go to. You can still go to the main display, which shows you the same buttons as here, but there's also another nice thing, that's the config, and there you can define the, I would say, brightness of the lights. That we need to go back. The map direction, right? So should it be a north up, or the track up, or the heading up? That's what you prefer. And then you can go to the main menu. So let's see if this thing flies. So let's reset the view. Let's increase the speed. And then I'm really wondering, okay, hey, how can we go airborne? This looks like to work. Is there some other trick, like with the H135, that we need to push another button? It's always fun, right? Trying out these things without reading the manual. Say, I would expect it would have. It's kind of weird, right? You can see that it reacts here. You can see that the manifold pressure increases. Let's start the engines again. Maybe we did something wrong. Well, not maybe. Come on! Go airborne. I'm not sure what we're doing wrong. Is there something here on the top that we need to do? Doesn't look like. So, here we go. For some reason we're now doing something. No. It was for a very short while. You would also expect it would at least, I would say, start to climb. This looks like to be the checklist of another aircraft. It's moving now. That's a little bit weird because we're not moving in the air. Strange behavior this. So let's switch off the engine and let's look up if we can find something on the official page, or not official page, on the of course on Flight Sim 2, which is the website where you can download this nice helicopter. So let's see if there are some instructions over there. It says hit Ctrl E. Then you can switch on the engine. Is there anything else? What's being described here? Please read the included quick start guide. That's interesting, right? So probably we should have read that one prior starting, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm downloading the manual to see what's going on, right? In the meantime, we can look at the radio itself. Radio itself is, I would say, pretty straightforward, right? You can also define a flight plan here, so you can configure it either using this display, which is, I would say, a little bit more friendly, or using the display here below, because you can see that the configured flight is already also listed here, which is good, of course. Other things you can do with this is change the CDI, change the OBS, messages, you can read the messages, and you can select procedures, right? So if you want to change the procedure, for example, you want to go to a specific, or you want to use an approach to land on a specific runway, or you want to depart from a specific runway and do the SID, that's all, I would say, listed there nicely. This takes a little bit longer than I hoped for, so what I will do is I will open the manual on my on the same machine. So the manual itself can be found in the download. So if you extract the zip, it contains the folder, and inside that folder, which is called RSP-R44, you will find a manual and documentation, and there you will find, of course, the quick start guide, which you can use, and it describes how you can install it. Okay. It allows you to use airlines or airline FS. Okay. Nice, but isn't there a way that we can simply start using it? Or do we really need to use that airline FS? So I'm extracting it as we speak, because I want to show you how it works. So in that case, it looks like that you need to install that airline FS also, in addition to extracting the content in the cock or to the community folder, right, which you would normally already do. Yeah, realism, casual pilot. I'm still trying to figure out, because I can't imagine that we need to install that. I'm also looking at the quick start guide again to see if I did miss anything. So it says it's approximately 5% is now completed, right? So that's, I would say, is in the early development stage, which in some cases explains why some things are not working. Okay. So we're gonna use the, no, it has already loaded that profile, right? So that's good. So let's go back to Flight Simulator in that case. and see if it works. So we're gonna start the engines again. That needs to be done with the Ctrl E key. For some reason it doesn't look like that it's reacting to throttling or something. Let's go inside. Oh, here we go. So that was the trick. So the trick is, you need to install the airland as it looks like, to make sure that you can control the aircraft. So what they describe in the manual is what you need to do is you need to extract it, make sure that there's a shortcut which refers to the tool itself. There's a profile included, and that profile is specifically for this helicopter. So you can load it, you can start Flight Simulator safely, then once Flight Simulator started, you select the helicopter. It takes you a few minutes before the helicopter is loaded, and the first time it always takes longer, right, because it needs to process all the things. And then after that you need to make sure that you're switching back to your desktop and make sure that the tool is running. I would say, okay, hey, you can also start the tool and then start Flight Simulator. It should have, I would say, the same effect, right? So we're flying with the helicopter, right? It was a little bit of a struggle. It didn't react to the, I would say, to the controls good enough initially. But again, I should have read the manual, right? I'm always downloading the stuff and then trying it simply out. Because I also want to make sure that, hey, how user-friendly is it? Well, this one is user-friendly, but you need to be aware of that. You need to set or download or extract that specific tool, start the tool, and then you can control the aircraft. Pretty nice. So let's us fly over Curacao a bit. You can see that the control is, I would say, pretty well, right? It's really nice. For those who are, I would say, curious how much liveries are by default being provided with this helicopter, it's only one at this moment. But as you probably know, when you go to Flight Simulator 2, you will find multiple other people already working on those liveries. Or maybe they already published some liveries. It's a brand new aircraft, right? That's just been released recently, and keep in mind it's not yet finished. So it has been released on the 15th, which was it yesterday? They call it version 1.0, but actually it's not 1.0, right? It still is in development. Well, and that was the crash. So you can also see that it isn't an easy thing to fly with. You need to be very careful. So let's give it another try. So we're gonna start the engines. Yeah, now it directly works. That's cool. Now the air control is pissed off because we took off without permission. So let's see if we can survive a little bit longer in the air. Step, of course, is to try to land safely. So the aircraft or the helicopter doesn't have an autopilot, right? So be aware of that. You need to continuously fly yourself. So we're gonna reduce the throttling a bit. And then let's give it a try to land. Not sure if it works. Reinstall. And the cool thing about it, I'm not sure if you can see it, is that the tool which you as it looks like need to install to control the aircraft also gives some warnings. You probably can't see them because I'm only recording the flight simulator screen itself, but it also gives you warnings about the RPMs, etc., and how much RPMs you've set. And this was the crash. We landed too hard, and that, I would say, that's always difficult with a helicopter, right? So here also ends this add-on spotlight. We looked at the helicopter, which has been released recently, actually yesterday, the Robinson R44 Raven II helicopter project. It still is in development, but it already looks very promising. If you want to download it, you can find the download link in the description of the video, and then you can give it a try yourself. Keep in mind that you need to extract it, you need to install the tool, which is included in the zip. Make sure that you run the tool and then start Flight Simulator, else controls might not work as expected. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.